enjoy the game and support the officials and student athletes in a positive and sportsmanlike manner. Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the game. The officials for tonight's game are Justin Rice and Chad Flynn. And now for the starting lineups. For Brunswick, at center number 6, senior Natalie Perro. At left wing, number 17, senior Jillian Countway. At right wing, senior number 14, Solveig Ledwick. On defense, the senior number 3, Quinn McCormick. On defense, another senior number 18, Sydney Parham. In goal, number 30, a senior Hensley Levant. The head coach of the Brunswick Dragons is Chris Ledwick, assisted by Rachel Maroney and Katie Burney. And now for the starting lineup for the Greely Gloucester Rangers. At center, a freshman, number 22, Lakin Cooney. At left wing, another senior, number 23, Lizzie Pine. At right wing, a freshman, number 3, Eve Smith. On defense, a senior, number 9, Casey Lord. And defense, a junior, number 4, Nora Bruning. And in goal, junior, number 31, Charlie Louie. Greely is coached by Meg Finley, assisted by Emily Bovino. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand while we honor America with our national anthem.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Family Ice Arena in Falmouth, Maine, for a matchup between your Brunswick Dragons and the Rangers of Greely and Great New Gloucester. Ethan, I did say Greely, Great New Gloucester, but they do only have one GNG player.
Following the announcement, both teams will take a picture together. And for more information on this organization, please visit palscaresinc.com.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Casey Lord.
My name is Lucy Hannon.
And we are members of the Greely Cal Cares chapter. I wanted to take the time to acknowledge the green tape around each of the Greely players' hockey sticks. The Cal Cares chapter of Greely High School, the second in Maine, has encouraged all of Greely sports teams to wear green in support of suicide prevention and mental health awareness. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 and 24-year-olds, and to understand the importance of this topic, I want to tell you about the person who started all of this, Kyle. Kyle was a kid like most of us. He was athletic, did well in school, and was extremely involved in his community. However, what made him special was his willingness to help others. Sadly, Kyle ended his life at just 19 years old. In such a dark situation, a shimmer of light has shone through the creation of Cal Cares. His family started this organization to carry on Kyle's legacy and to spread awareness to the often not talked about issue of mental health.
In a final letter written by Kyle prior to his passing, he encouraged others who struggle with mental illness to seek help and recover, to never stop fighting the disease, and to never feel ashamed for having to admit their existence. Tonight, Greely Hockey dedicates this game to Kyle Johnson and any others struggling with their mental health. You're not alone. If you're interested in joining Cal Cares, you can
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Falmouth Family Ice Center. Boy, are we excited to be here today. We got Robert and Ethan on the microphone. We got Ryan Livesay on the camera tonight, taking over for the GOAT. Beware, any complaints about the videography, please direct them to 28R Livesay at brunswicksd.org. Ryan Livesay will also be studying for his World Studies midterm that will be going on tomorrow morning. He is currently studying the continent of Africa, so we wish Ryan good luck to that. And good luck to all of you there who are could be studying for your midterms but decided to tune in to BHSN tonight.
Yeah, Ethan, I believe you do have physics tomorrow. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, so Ethan will be studying for physics in between whistles tonight, I believe. Most icings, that is where he is going to be. But other than that, he will be with us on the broadcast. Opening face-off will be between Lakin Cooney and Natalie Parham. Ethan, smaller rink than we're used to, but I do like being a little closer to the action than we are at Bowen.
Yeah, it's a little different environment, a little tighter than usual. Funny enough, the rink itself is smaller than the Brunswick team is used to at Watson. The corners a little tighter and a little thinner ice sheet as well.
I can definitely tell that it is not as wide, but is it still the full 200 feet long?
Yes, it should be. Not like the Olympic rink in Milan, Italy.
Countway will chase, and it's knocked up ice by Bruning. Taken back over by Ledwick. She will fire wide of Louis in net for the Rangers. Collision with Donahue as well as Hine. Racing for it in the offensive zone is Cooney for the Rangers. Ledwick takes over in the defensive zone for Brunswick. We'll give it up ice to Flynn. Flynn collects and knocks into the neutral zone. Puck will slide through the slot. Donahue knocks it towards the net. Taken back over by the Rangers. Will be collected in the neutral zone by McCormick. Ethan, talk to me about this game in terms of seeding for the Dragons.
Yeah, so the Dragons are coming into this game the 3 seed in Class A. I would say Class A North, but there's only one class in girls hockey. So they're the 3 seed in the northern region of girls hockey. Greely coming into this game as the 7th seed in the south. So Dragons obviously heavily favored. Greely 2-13 coming into the game. Dragons 8-7. But this Greely team did beat York, who Brunswick lost to, I believe.
That's exactly correct, Ethan. And their other win came against the Black Tigers of Gardner and Winslow and Messalonsky, who the Dragons most recently beat 1-0.
Yeah, so while seeding might seem like Dragons are going to take care of this one tonight, it could be closer than you'd expect. We'll see. Seems to be all Dragons so far.
I'm going to have to go check the schedule to be sure about this, but I believe the Dragons are on an 8-game streak without scoring in the first period. I think that's correct. It could be 7, it could be 9. I'm pretty sure it's 8, Ethan. So 8-game streak not scoring in the first period could be. That's probably my goal, at least, is for them to break it tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from shots and quality of shots. We've talked to them in interviews. I think Quinn McCormick was mentioning how during the periods of one of their games last week, it was 0-0 heading into the third, and the message in the intermission was get quality shots on net. Stop just throwing it into the stomach of the goalie.
The goalie in question tonight is Charlie Louis for the Rangers, a junior. Here is McCormick rounding the net. Will take it into the slot and fire, and miss wide right. Taken back over by the Rangers. McCormick looks to steal it there from Cooney. And she does. McCormick feeds it down the middle looking for Countway. Donahue puts it on net. Save made by Louis, and she will knock it from her stick into the glove and freeze it.
Yeah, first shot of the night, Donahue able to get the puck to the net through the traffic. First shot of the night for the Dragons, despite having complete control pretty much the entire game so far.
Parham will look to win it back to Ledwick. Ledwick does take it around the official and will fire and score. There's a first period goal for the first time in about 9 games, and the Dragons lead 1-0. A beautiful shot from the low wing.
Yeah, good goal by Solveig Ledwick, but I do want to shout out Robert for the reverse jinx there. That was pretty incredible. Kind of summoned that goal.
Credit Natalie Parham with the assist off the face-off. She does lead the team in assists now with 13.
Yeah, and many of those goals coming to Solveig Ledwick, who is leading the team this year and the state with 25 goals, now 26.
Here is White will fire wide. Donahue knocks it back along the back wall to be recovered by Lord. Lord will give the puck up the ice for Cooney. Bryn Rand will knock it towards the slot. And here comes Cooney through the neutral zone, trying to get through Parham. Collision along the boards with Parham and Cooney. White in the neutral zone will knock it into the offensive zone, will be an icing.
Yeah, some really good work there on the blue line by that D pairing of Donahue and Parham. Parham able to delay the Greely attacker, and then Donahue putting her body on the line to keep it out of the zone.
Ryan Livesay doing a fantastic job running both the scoreboard sponsored by Singer Domingo's Portside Real Estate as well as our camera. That's just great stuff.
Speaking of Ryan Livesay, here comes Lauren Livesay the other way there, number 7.
No relation.
No relation.
Parham will knock it around the back wall. Bruning battling with Flynn along the boards. McCormick will seal it back for the Dragons. And Flynn will collect in the neutral zone. She'll give it up the ice, taken back over by the Rangers. McCormick will leave it off for Sydney Parham, looking up ice for Jerome. Jerome towards Livesay. And McCormick will track it down once again. McCormick into the offensive zone she goes, makes a nice move. Will look to get a shot off, but can, as it dislodged by Casey Lord. Livesay knocks it towards the net. And stolen back by Bruning. Ledwick will steal the puck for Brunswick, trying to get around Lord. Ledwick will backhand it, save made by Louis. Here is Ledwick, high slot. She'll look to fire again. Now pressured by Bruning. Parham fighting for it. Ledwick gets it back for Brunswick. She'll send it down the middle, caught by Countway. One touch to Parham. Nearly a beautiful play along that far pipe, Ethan.
Yeah, really good look there. Dragons have been trying to just take it each one person at a time, just trying to find their way through 3 or 4 Greely defenders. They end up making the pass, and they get some good scoring chances.
Countway deflects that pass attempt. Donahue tracks it down in the neutral zone. Does Parham have to be totally over the blue line for that to count as a offside?
I'm going to be honest, I was not looking. I was more looking at the fact that the Dragons are rotating 3D today, which a few weeks ago, Robert, you told me that they never do, and so they're doing that tonight.
I think that's because Delia Vital is out. I don't think that is... I think if Vital were here, they would be rotating 4, so... No answer. Save made by Louis. This is the first time this year, maybe the second time. I think Vital missed one other game and they rotated 3 back in as well. Are you happy?
Yep. Very happy. Be interested to see how that plays out, though. They do have a few other players. Nope, I lied there. Okay, so they're gonna. Looks like they're gonna bring in Tess Welch maybe coming up here, but we'll see. we just saw after the last shift, I think Parham came off, and then McCormick was also ready for a change, and so Parham came right back on. So that's something to keep an eye out for.
The Dragons seem to be skating about 10 or 11 forwards right now, Ethan. And here is Welch right on cue, but only 4 defensemen. Can you count up actually how many forwards? I would love to get that exact figure. That'll be your job. How many forwards have played so far? You can go ahead and count them up for me. Save made by Levante.
Yeah, I think they're rolling 4 lines.
Wow.
This is not something, traditionally we just see them run 2 lines. Today they've got, looks like they're just rolling everybody through. It's working so far, so.
Face-off won by the Rangers, shot blocked by Welch. White deflects that. Marino knocks it up ice, collected again by the Rangers. Bruning will knock it into the slot and turn back over to Solveig Ledwick. She'll look to carry it herself through the neutral zone, and she'll enter. Gets around Bruning, and Ledwick will take it into the zone. Now she'll hang up along the wing. Ledwick fires, save made. Louis. White along the boards. McCormick collects in the neutral zone. Ledwick across to McCormick up ice and caught there by Lord. Ethan, I'd have to estimate that Greely and Brunswick have the 2 most girls hockey players of any school in the state.
I don't know, Robert, is that the case?
I've watched, I believe, all 13 teams in the state play and looked at the rosters, and I've yet to see as many as Greely has. The only one I can think of is Chevrolet, but there really were only like 8 Chevrolet players on that Chevrolet team, whereas we do have, counting the JV, about 20 players from Greely, so that is a lot. Here comes Countway into the zone. We'll center it for Ledwick. Ledwick backhands it back, shot by Parham is over the net.
Yeah, it looked like it just caught the shaft there of Louis in net.
Donahue to Ledwick. Ledwick surrounded, will backhand it off the boards to Countway. Countway will round in her backhand, feeds Ledwick, 1-timer, save made by Louis. Great job to get pipe to pipe. She'll give it back to Donahue. Donahue will fire. Deflected by the skate of Bruning. McCormick back to Ledwick. Ledwick will fire. Stopped by Louis as well.
Yeah, Greely is right now doing an incredible job of clogging up the middle. Brunswick has had possession nearly this entire game. They've had only 4 or 5 shots on net. And really their only chances they're getting is a quick pass across and a quick shot, as we saw from Ledwick there. As you can see now, they've got 4 right down there trying to get in the way and trying to block some shots.
Parham has that shot blocked. Natalie Parham will put it wide. I believe Missoula Long is now playing defenseman to get some more skaters at that spot. Greely will enter the zone. Parham will deflect it, and Ledwick puts it off the boards to Countway. Countway into the zone. She will fire. Stopped by the stick of Louis. Bank off the boards, and will that be an icing? No. Why did the linesman wave off that icing, Ethan?
Icing has to, the puck has to cross the goal line, and the puck did not cross the goal line there, Robert.
He started to wave it off before Parham touched the puck.
If they see that the puck is clearly not going to make it and the D has a good chance to make it, they'll just call that off.
That puck was definitely going to make it to the red line.
I disagree.
All right. Long will collect in the defensive zone, looking up the ice for Flynn. Too far. Lord collects for the Rangers, pressured by Livesay. Will give it up.
That's a good forecheck. Oh my God.
Louis will cover. Ryan?
Honestly, Robert, I love the effort on that forecheck. Forced an in-zone face-off, which you'd love to see. Just great intensity from that line there.
Of course, Lauren Livesay is centering that line again. No relation to Ryan Livesay.
Pretty crazy coincidence. 2 sophomore hockey players at Brunswick, both named Livesay, and no relation.
Yeah, it's incredible that they're not related, Robert.
Jerome knocks it towards Flynn. Jerome blocks that breakout pass attempt by Hind. Flynn will look to center, has it stolen by Bruning. I feel like Nora Bruning has been on the ice this entire game for Greely.
It's kind of the Solveig Ledwick method for Brunswick.
Jerome collects behind the net, pressured by Bruning. Centering pass will be again frozen by Louis.
Yeah, Louis has been pretty solid tonight. A couple shots coming her way, and she's directed them into the corners, keeping the puck out of harm's way. Made a couple of good stops there. So overall, I like what I'm seeing from Louis so far.
Saavedra will win the faceoff. Parham collects for Brunswick. She'll put it towards the net, blocked. Parham gets it back though. From the circle will fire, it's blocked again, both of those being by Lake and Cooney. Saavedra will collect in the slot. That one's wide. Welch will track it down for Brunswick. Sends it behind the net. Parham will knock it to Smith. Smith centering pass. Saavedra turns around, fires. Save made by Louis. Saavedra has it blocked again. Long will collect in the neutral zone. Parham deflects it, and now it's Welch again. We'll look to enter the zone for Brunswick. Ethan, do we have a game tomorrow on Brunswick High Sports Network? I cannot quite remember.
Would that be? That's not in Brunswick, is it? Or?
I think it's up north somewhere. Do you remember where?
Well, I think it was more east than north, almost.
Yeah, northeast.
Let's see, what teams are in the northeast region?
Bar Harbor?
MDI.
Yeah, I think it might be MDI. Oh, is it? Oh, it's Camden Hills boys basketball, I think. I think it is boys basketball at Camden Hills at 7 o'clock against #1 player in the state, Colby commit, Nolan Ames. And I think you and I will be on the call for that game as the #2 in Class A North Brunswick boys basketball team plays against the #1 ranked Windjammers at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
That should be an
at 7
exciting
o'clock.
That should be
And you just
exciting.
have to hope people will mark their calendars for 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that should be exciting.
At 7 o'clock right here on BHSN. Parham in the corner battling with 45 seconds left. Countway will collect for Brunswick. Maybe one last chance here. Will round the net. Backhanded toward Parham. Parham will give it up to McCormick. McCormick from the high circle will fire. Save made by Louis. Ledwick collects along the wing. Got 30 seconds left to work with. Ledwick will fire from that same spot she just scored from, but this time Louis gets her shoulder there to take away that corner. Ledwick off the post, one touch by Ledwick, and she scores her second.
Yeah, Dragons really not giving up. I think when you said the save made by Louis there, the save actually might have been made by Jillian Countway. That sounded more like shin pads than it did goalie pads here. There. But I do want to continue to shout out the defense from the Greely Grey New Gloucester team. They're really shutting down the middle. The Dragons aren't able to get the looks that they want. So I think that's really the theme of this first period is we have 10 seconds left. Ledwick's going to take it inside right off the mask of Louis. She looks a little shaken up.
Donahue will put it wide. Countway collects along the wing. Maybe one buzzer beater, and no, it is wide.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying, I think the theme of that period, good defense by Greely. The Dragons, had possession almost the entire period, and Greely only conceded 2 goals. They're keeping shots outside, so Louis is able to get eyes on it, able to direct it wide. So that's what I'm seeing.
Seems about right, Ethan. Well, we do thank you all for joining us here on Brunswick High Sports Network. Ryan Livesay on both the camera and the scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo's Portside Real Estate, and Ethan Patterson and myself, Robert Bowen, on the microphone. Dragons lead 2-0 after 1.
All right, we're going to get talking here so we don't get copyrighted by this incredible music we've had over the intermission. I think, as Ryan Livesay said just a few minutes ago, his favorite song was the one that went Zamboni.
You're not doing the song justice, Ethan.
And so we were just really appreciative of that. That really got us going. It's got us excited for this second period of hockey. Robert, are you excited?
Well, usually at Sidney J. Watson Arena, Kaz and I will read off the mural that describes what a Zamboni is, and I just felt really homesick not having that mural here, so thankfully we got the song to really just remind us about the Zamboni that was right in front of us. And it just looped for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, speaking of things on the wall, Robert, there are plenty of things on the wall in this this building.
As in most buildings, Ethan. Shout out to Lax Pros, Maine's lacrosse store.
Or Skillins Greenhouses. Go to www.skillins.com to find out more. Dragons will win the face-off and get a quick shot earlier. That was Countway just along the goal line, as it was directed into the corner by Louis. Dragons going to continue to work it around the outside as they did in the first period, as we're going to have a penalty coming up there on Sydney Parham. She took down Eve Smith. So Dragons will head to the PK.
Yeah, Ethan, Sydney's doing her best to try to come back on Jillian Countway, who has the lead right now in penalties on the season. In terms of just not minutes, but normal penalties currently nets now, 17-13 Countway to Parham. They by far have the two most on the team. So Sydney trying to chip away at that Countway lead.
Well, that is a lot of penalties, Robert. This Dragons penalty kill has also been very successful. They had struggled the other night against Chevrolet. I think it was 2 power play goals that Chevrolet scored on them. Yeah. But other than that, they'd only let in 1 goal on 40-something PK attempts.
Yeah, you got it. 2/3 of the power play goals they had allowed all year came on Monday against Chevrolet.
So far, so good for this PK unit of Parham, Countway, McCormick, and Ledwick. Countway's going to take it inside, get a shot right off the chest of Louis, hit the ground. Countway tried to come in, grab the rebound, but Louis able to cover it up.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see a lot of shorthanded offense here for the Dragons penalty kill.
Yeah, and you might be wondering, wow, that's an impressive scoreboard. They've got the power play time up there, too. So shout out Ryan Livesay. He's doing a great job on the camera tonight and also on the timers. There's another shot there by Ledwick as this power play is taking forever as Louis has frozen the puck multiple times. Nonetheless, Sydney Parham is dancing to the music. Of course, this music is incredible here. So she's probably not too mad about that.
I was going to say she's already spent a lot of time in the penalty box this year, so a little bit of extra time due to these extra freezing of the puck. Not going to bother her too much, I don't think.
This Dragons PK is going to continue to keep the puck in their O-zone as Greely finally able to get it out now, but instantly poked away by McCormick as Couturier able to get it deep, but Parham wins the race. Finds Ledwick, who is not going to ice it, but she will take this herself. Ledwick with some speed down the wing, continuing to kill some time. 27 left on the penalty kill for the Dragons. Brings it around into the corner as Perkins able to collect it. And it's Lakin Cooney now will throw it into the corner. 5 seconds remaining on Parham's penalty. That is nearly out of the playing surface, but just kept in as Dragons will give a hard forecheck here on the wing. Ledwick collecting it now tries to look far side for Countway, but is too strong, and Irving Davis able to collect it. Stopped by Ledwick, who has now been on the ice for this entire period. As we are 3 minutes in, she will now take off some time here. Parham looking to fire it deep, went off the skate of an unsuspecting Ranger and nearly called off sides on the change there. Parham with it once again. Looks for Jerome, who's able to get it into the neutral zone. Parham keeps to herself, off the boards, and she's got space challenge there in the middle. Good defense there by Bruning, as we've got a lost glove. But Perkins gets that right back on and will continue to play. Jerome and Bruning will battle along the boards. As the delayed offsides will force the Dragons out of the zone, and they'll use that to get a defensive change. As Missoula Long and Quinn McCormick take over now. McCormick's gonna take it around the outside off the pick set by Tess Welch. She's still got it, heading in behind the net. Trying to look for somebody in the middle, but poked away by Lord. McCormick able to collect it once again, gets a shot on net. Gathered there, rebound was available, but Louis covers it up.
Yeah, she's been having a very nice game in net so far for the Rangers, Ethan. Of course, we do not have an exact shot on goal tally because you are not in the PA box. Oh, I guess you and Ryan were both in the PA box for last game, so that's why we had the shots on goal for the last broadcast that voted, but nothing this game.
Yeah, Ryan Livesay is very conservative on the shot counter, I will say. If the goalie touches the puck, he is sure to tell me that it was not a shot on goal. So
Ryan, being a goalie, will always, well, no, wouldn't you want to count more shots on goal?
Would you like to explain yourself here, Ryan?
Well, it depends if I'm in net or not, Robert.
You want to deflate everybody else's stats as a goaltender.
If I could, I would. No. Unless their name's Michael Shoemaker or Colton Sampson.
Ryan Livesay notably led in 0 goals so far this year. He will get the start this Saturday as the Wickport Dragons boys hockey team will take on the newly found Biddeford York Co-op. That'll be home on Saturday night at 7. Shot attempt by Parham is blocked once again and in the middle.
Parham will put it on net again, and a rebound trying to jam it in there was Welch, and Louis will cover once again. Yeah, Livesay to get the start on Saturday for the Wickport Dragons. 7 o'clock, Kaz and I will be on the call for that. Ethan, are you going to be on the call, or do you think you'll play in that one?
We'll see. I think Ryan will probably want me to be on defense. His first start of the season, he's a little scared, so hopefully we'll be there on the ice to support him. Centering pass falls through as known as there. McCormick, somehow the puck found its way through there. Through the... Okay, it's hard not to talk about the music, folks. This has been quite the night in terms of music. Ryan Livesay, you're used to hearing the Ethan Patterson playlist at the home girls games. How do you think that stacks up against this lineup?
Yeah, Ethan Patterson's playlist got nothing on what's the tunes being played here tonight. The barn is bumping.
Shot on net by Addie White is once again covered by Louis. Addie White will be in my intro to college writing midterm tomorrow at 10:30. That should be a good time. Rangers finally able to clear the zone as Long looks for Rand.
Ethan, I do believe Greely also has midterms this week as well as Brunswick, so that is an even playing field in this game. I'm not quite sure if that's the case for every school that the Dragons have played this week.
Yeah, so they are also kind of getting the short end of the stick when it comes to studying time for midterms. The same case for the boys team last night. Had a late game in Auburn. Road conditions and snowplows meant that Ethan Patterson and Ryan Livesay didn't get home till after 10 p.m. Dragons will bring out their top line again in Parham, Countway, and Ledwick, and the puck is frozen.
Ryan Livesay really making sure to get the clock down to every exact second correct, and I just think he's doing a fantastic job. Of course, that scoreboard sponsored by Singer Domingo's Portside Real Estate.
Yeah, Robert, I will say it's a good thing that Ryan Livesay is behind the camera, because if that camera was turned the other way, you would have been subject to his dance moves to that last song, and I'm sorry, folks, but you'd much rather watch this game.
To keep yourself.
Ledwick's going to carry it around into the middle now up top. She'll dish it around into the corner for Parham. Parham, usually playing D, will step up down low, as Ledwick will cover her at the point in a familiar spot. Rangers just have no answer to this continued cycling of the Dragons. Dragons still have struggled to get quality shots on net this period. Another one intended for Louis is blocked by, I believe, her own teammate there in Donahue. Parham will take it around. Tried to shot. The whiff ended up on Ledwick's stick, and she nearly had a chance there on the backhand, but that sailed just over. Ledwick forces it to the middle. Had a Michigan attempt there. She didn't take it, as a great save there by Louis.
I was going to say that exact same thing. Ledwick, of course, does play lacrosse as well as hockey, as there's a great save by Louis going pipe to pipe. I really was expecting the Michigan attempt there. Maybe we'll see it later in the game.
Parham will send it in deep. As the Rangers will send that one down for icing. Robert, you bring up an interesting point. I don't know if the Rangers have put a puck on Hensley Levante tonight. Is that correct?
I don't remember saying saved by Levante yet this game, Ethan.
And Levante, as we just found out a few days ago, is committed to play at SMCC for their team next year. She is looking a little bored on the other side. Ryan, if you want to pan over there. She's just hanging out down there. Ryan, I'm sure you've been on this side of things as a goalie in games that your team dominates. How do you stay locked in? Is that possible?
Well, on the bench, it's real easy, talk to the guy, stay focused that way.
Who's your go-to bench conversationalist this year?
Either Coach Matt or Evan Dorsey for sure. Never a sour conversation with those two. Always keeps it entertaining.
Puck is somehow still loose as McCormick continues to fire it off the right leg pad of Louis. And I'll say it once again, Louis has covered the puck, I think probably the 20th time this period.
Yeah, that was about 5 consecutive saves by her right leg pad, and then she does freeze it once again. Just disrespectful to Neil Diamond. That was You hate to hear that over the loudspeaker.
I hope you folks at home can hear that. That was a interesting, to say the least, remix of Sweet Caroline, but possibly it inspired the Rangers here as they're going to work it around. It's Lake and Cooney now bringing it into the O zone and fired in deep. She'll continue on the forecheck as Donahue tries to move it around. Apologize that Robert Bowen is incapacitated at the moment. Still recovering from Sweet Caroline. Deep breaths here, folks.
I believe there's a Neil Diamond movie coming out with Hugh Jackman sometime soon.
Is that true? I look forward to that as Ledwig pokes it through. Countway gets there first. She'll have a breakaway chance on Louis. Takes it along the right side, poked away. Good poke check by Louis. Ledwig now with a chance in front, sliding it over to Parham, who trips up. Puck will head in there below the net. It's a great dodge there by the referee.
We had this debate during a wrestling match on BHSN a little while ago about what is the hardest sport to officiate, and I still maintain that it is hockey. Just great athleticism from the linesman there.
Dragons will send it in deep as Countway forechecks. Clearing pass intercepted by McCormick, who centers to Natalie Parham in front, but is blocked as Ledwig's going to dance inside to the middle. Shot just over the net as she's got her own rebound once again. Puck comes to the middle. Greely defender. Didn't see it behind her. I believe that was Bruning. Gave Parham an opportunity. Dragons really like to work it behind the net and try to find a centering pass in the middle for the quick shot.
Ethan, you're absolutely right. You said earlier about how great Greely has been at clogging up the middle. The Dragons a whole bunch of times have looked like they're going to have one-timer looks in the slot, especially feeding from what we call X in lacrosse. And Greely's just done a great job to break up those passes.
Chance there for Parham. Good defense by Lord, who will collect it in the corner, but it's stolen away by Ledwig. Tess Welch into the game, fires it in deep. Would like to apologize for the brief scoreboard malfunction. Ryan Livesay still thinking about that Sweet Caroline remix.
Ethan, I think that's Ryan's first mistake all night on the clock, so let's cut him a little bit of slack here.
I know which BHSN commentator I like more right about now, Ethan.
Again, as we commonly say at BHSN, we are a family. We all love each other. We've got a great crew. Kaz Kaczynski not here with us tonight, but he's usually on the squad. Brandon Ware, the greatest videographer in the state of Maine. Is that good to say?
It sounded like you said that a bit sarcastically, but I have yet to see a better videographer in this state than Brandon Ware. I don't know. There aren't too many. It's disrespectful to Journey. I don't know why we keep doing these covers. Like, is the rink going to get sued by Journey and by Neil Diamond? I don't think so. I think we can play the regular songs. But anyway, Beware, fantastic cameraman. I think he's the best in the state. I would agree with that. And yeah, those are my two thoughts. Play the real songs, and Beware's the best in the state. That's all I got.
Chance here for the Rangers. First shot of the night for them as Labonte deflects it aside.
I think they're going to get a shot on goal on their own net after the their first shot on goal on Levante.
Ryan Livesay, if you were in the box at Watson Arena, would you have counted that as a shot on net?
There's not a chance. Not a chance.
Ledwick cuts inside onto the backhand now, looking for Countway, who's coming across the top of the crease as Parham battles there in the corner. A bit of a wrestling match with Irving Davis. Centering pass once again slips through as the Rangers clear the zone. McCormick comes right back the other way. Tries to force it through. It's poked away into the hands of Countway. It nearly hits Louis in the face mask. She narrowly avoided that one, though. As puck is free. And the second period will expire.
Ethan, I really don't want to jinx it. This would be the worst announcer jinx ever. But we have now gone 2 periods without a Jillian Countway penalty. We might be seeing a whole game without her in the box.
So you pretty much just guaranteed a Jillian Countway penalty next period, Robert. I apologize to Jillian Countway, her family, and all friends that were hoping that Jillian Countway would stay out of the box. Robert, I don't know why you said that. Anyways, my key of the second period here is the differences in the snow coverage on each side. If we pan over here to the left, you'll see Brunswick's offensive zone from that period, pretty covered in snow, whereas if you turn to the other side, you can see the reflection of the lights as we see the Zam!
Ethan, get onto the ice. Because all of the music are non-copyrighted covers, should we leave the stream unmuted so everybody can hear the Zamboni song?
Unfortunately, Rob, I think out of respect for our viewers' ears at home, we should mute the stream.
Again, as we know at BHSN, it is a difficult job to be on the aux. Ryan Livesay, I believe you were on aux one game and there was no music playing at all. So we just appreciate that we've got at least something going here. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be right back with you for this third period of hockey.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Falmouth, Maine at Family Ice Arena in Falmouth, Maine, as the Dragons take on the Rangers. Huge shout out to Brad Smith.
Yeah, we definitely had an incredible intermission. That was probably the greatest intermission I've ever been a part of. First, we had a visit from Brad Smith, you said?
Brad Smith, yeah. From
Who's
Colby.
Brad Smith, Robert?
In the same class as my parents at Colby, and the father of number 3 in white, Eve Smith.
Yeah, so I'll walk you through that situation first. So initially we're rewinding to just get some ears on the Sweet Caroline remix again.
Yeah.
And then over the announcements we hear Robert Bowen and Ethan Patterson. We get a salute from the box. So obviously we give a salute back. And then Brad starts walking our way, and we're a little concerned, because we have been a little critical of the music tonight.
Yeah, we're wondering, was he the one running the music? Did someone give him word that there were these guys on the broadcast making fun of his music? And we got a little bit scared, but it was all right.
Yeah, so it turns out he was a nice fellow. He got a selfie with Robert. And then we had Chris Ledwick come up to us, coach of the Brunswick team, and he offers us pizza after the game.
Yeah, just a fantastic intermission. I hope you guys had as eventful an intermission as we did.
Yeah, and I will say, the music got better for sure during that intermission. Would you agree, Robert?
I 100% agree. We had Start Me Up by, was that the Rolling Stones? I can't remember. That's the Rolling Stones, right? Start Me Up.
Who knows?
Is that Aerosmith? Wait, no. It's definitely Rolling Stones.
That is on the Ethan Patterson, Sidney J. Watson mix. So it's good to see that. Felt a little bit like home there for a minute.
Can we get a quick Google from Ryan? Start Me Up is definitely by the Rolling Stones, right?
You're impeding my academic progress.
Yeah, Rolling Stone. Just making sure there. I would say the music has definitely gotten better. In terms of future BHSN, we have obviously tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Brunswick boys basketball, ranked number 2 in Class A North, at number 1 in Class A North, Cameron Hills, undefeated with the top player in the state, Nolan Ames. That is live at 7 o'clock. Tell everyone you know. We need at least about 400 concurrent viewers on that broadcast tomorrow, or I'm going to be very sad. So,
yeah, we're definitely going to try to break the record tomorrow. I think the current record is around 130. Is that correct?
I think it's 130 for the girls ice hockey state championship against Cheverus on February 15th of 2025. The second most is 120 during the Brunswick versus Lewiston boys soccer Class A North semifinal.
Dragons are going to start right where they left off in the second period. Centering pass right to Parham. Parham wide open this time. And she tucks it away under the blocker of Louis.
That's just a beautiful look there by Ledwick as she gets her third point. Natalie Parham nets her second on the year. And the Dragons were trying those looks in the slot all night. Really doing a great job at breaking up the passes, but couldn't break up that one. Parham with a nice shot from inside.
Yeah, that time, nobody there. Wide open chance, and she definitely took it.
Ethan, I think as a playlist operator, I feel like Glory Days is too happy a song for when the away team just scored a goal. I don't know.
Well, they are pretty happy right now as they did just meet Robert Bowen, so that could be why we're getting some positive vibes out of the penalty box, but I think we've been getting those all night.
It is Brad Smith on the loudspeaker. I had not realized that.
A complete change in, I would say, era for the music tonight. Ryan, are you okay with this new style we switched up to?
If it ain't Zamboni, I don't want it.
Labonte is going to get her second touch of the night. Ooh. We had one of the Greely players end up in the boards there.
Greely has a shot on goal.
And we're just over a little bit of a minute into this game. Cotton Eye Joe, Ryan Livesay, thoughts?
This is acceptable too. I like it.
Yeah, I've liked that there's been the songs that we've heard are at their original tempo. We've heard no synthesizers, so it's been good so far.
Indeed, an improvement over the first half of this game.
again, back to the actual game here as Long sends it up the boards for Smith, who is stopped on the breakout and sent back in as McCormick's going to try the other side. Welch and Saavedra Estrada able to get it out. Once again, forced back in by McDuffie, who's having a good shift, number 17 there. McCormick will keep this one to herself. Taking it wide, she'll cut to the middle. Kept on sides just barely as that shot is deflected into the corner. Centering pass comes right back out to McDuffie. And Louis will freeze and we'll get some fresh legs.
Ethan, do you think that Livesay Palmer was the fastest skater in the state last year? I'm just coming to realize that of all the games I've watched, I've yet to see someone as fast as she was last year for the Dragons, a senior defenseman last year. I think she might have been the fastest skater in the whole state last year.
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement. Livesay Palmer now playing for Plymouth State this year on their girls hockey team. Walked on and ended up making the final roster as the Rangers nearly had a chance there before it was broken up by Sydney Parham. The Rangers with some more joy to start this third period as we're just over a little over 3 minutes in here, and I think I'm going to say that they've had more offensive zone possession time than they did the entire second period.
That does seem about right.
Rangers have been all over the Brunswick D in the neutral zone, trying to cut off that pass, which they've been looking for wide all night, as McCormick is going to battle along the boards there with Cooney. That was Eve Smith, daughter of Brad Smith, who tried to center that one before it was blocked, as she will go in for a change.
Speaking of Colby College, Brad Smith, of course, went to Colby with my parents. Nolan Ames, Colby commit, will be on the stream tomorrow in Camden Hills at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and we'll hope that the Brunswick Dragons have better luck with this Colby commit than they did with
the last one.
Theo Powd eliminated the Dragons last year in a bit of an embarrassing fashion.
Did you see that dunk that Theo Powell had against? Who was it against, Ryan? Was it against Bowen? No, I thought you knew because you started. You're just acting out a dunk, but he had a very good dunk recently in a game for Colby. It might have been against Bowen actually, but Theo Powell's doing great there at Colby. Of course, Trevor Garish playing football at Colby as well, and we'll see Nolan Ames there next year.
Penalty upcoming on the Rangers. It's going to be assessed to number 26, Kaya Perkins, who just got under the skates of Ledwick. And the Dragons are going to have their first power play of the night.
Yeah, Ethan, this is a big series for me. The Dragons are 8 for 36 on the power play this year. Not amazing. I think it's really important that they get a good power play dialed in here and put one in the back of the net to just build something going into these next few games, which are against two of the best teams in the state. Edward Little and Yarmouth Freeport are their next two games, and then it's the playoffs. So they have a ton of great competition coming up. Really got to get this power play going. Here's a good opportunity to do so.
Scramble in front of the net, ends up in the corner. And as you mentioned those games, Robert, of course, BHSN will be streaming those games, both away games. If you guys are interested in continuing to follow this Brunswick girls team as they head into the playoffs in a few weeks. Cormack puts it off the boards to Parham, who tried to get it deep. ended up off the referee as it'll clear the zone. Ledwick now with it. Will regroup, survey our options. Scott McCormick far side and finds her. Makes it through one Greely defender. Circles back, still with some time. Cross ice to Parham. Parham shot. Deflected up into the blocker of Louis, but able to cover the rebound.
Yeah, nearly trickled in there, but Louis shuts it down. Little huddle here before the face-off for the Dragon power play.
Face-off one back to McCormick on the left, as Ledwick's going to send it in deep with Countway in pursuit. Back up to Ledwick up high. Off to the wing. Back up to Ledwick. Parham with space. Parham and Ledwick go for the switcheroo. Had Countway back door, but decided to hold on. 30 seconds remaining. Ledwick with an open opportunity. She'll take the shot off the chest of Louis. And the follow-up attempt on the rebound ends up right in Louis' stomach.
I love that little play there from the Dragons. They ran a little double reverse flea flicker type action, which sucked the Greely defense over to that left side of the ice, which freed Ledwick open in the high circle. We have more Ryan Livesay dance moves now.
Face-off one once again for the Dragons with 15 seconds left. Have had quite a few chances as Ledwick fakes the drop to McCormick, gets her own rebound, tries to wrap it around, but poked away by the skate of Irving Davis. And the Rangers will clear the zone and kill the power play. Pass snuck by Irving Davis as Parham sends it in the corner now. Puck turned over on the blue line. Chance for Eve Smith. Ends up back the other way. Far side shot attempt. Finds Hensley Labonte. It was Lakin Cooney cut across the middle. Almost got Hensley Labonte out of her crease and sliding out of the net.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best scoring opportunity that the Rangers have had all night, but Labonte does shut it down. Both teams fall to 0 for 1 on the power play. I think that the Dragons missing Delia Vital definitely does hurt their man-up unit. She usually is up there from the defenseman position to take those outside shots.
Yeah, the Dragons had their starting five out there for the entire power play. So 2 minutes and then some more on the end of it. So all of them will head off the ice now as they'll bring on some fresh legs. As Donahue sends it in for Jerome, centers it, looking for Flynn, but sneaks by her. Donahue once again keeping it in off the shin pad of Flynn, but Missoula Long is able to get there as the Rangers have a chance the other way. Here's Gray. Gray almost got the shot on as her second attempt will get in there. Puck is in the net. Somehow, I think they're going to credit the goal. I'm not sure who they're going to credit the goal to, but the puck initially was centered by Gray from the corner. Potentially, there was some Dragons in the net. Potentially, an own goal might have knocked Labonte into her own net, ending up with the goal. We're going to have to run the replay back on that one. We'll see who they credit the goal to. We'll hear that announcement soon coming up here from Brad Smith.
Yeah, that's about what I saw as well, Ethan. I'll pull up the replay here on your school MacBook as Ledwick will carry into the zone.
Ledwick cuts the middle, but poked away. Good defense there by Couturier. Countway brings it around the net looking for someone in the middle in front, but ends up going all the way back to her own blue line as Ledwick gains her offensive blue line. Still with it, gets the shot off. Countway was in front, but the blocker of Louis deflects it into the corner. Ledwick still with it now. She's got Countway back door, keeps to herself, and Louis comes up with the stop. Robert, you rewatched the goal. What knowledge have we gained about that? Or is it still pretty hard to see from here? So it looks like it was just there are a couple people tumbling in front of the net. I think the puck initially was under Levante, and then it kind of looks as though one of the Rangers knocked down the Brunswick defender into Levante, and then she then fell into the net. I'm assuming it's at that point that the puck went in, but pretty difficult to see nonetheless. Robert, do you have a different analysis of that, or is that pretty much what we're seeing?
Exactly right, Ethan.
Shot blocked by Hine. Makes it all the way into the corner. As this forward line for the Dragons has been out here for quite some time. D-line as well, as that was Sydney Parham who went hard into the boards. Able to get out, but a little shaken up there. Here's the other Parham, working it down deep, allowing her team to get a change as she will head off for one of her own. Donahue almost able to keep it in, but sneaks out. Delayed offsides was coming, but Rangers instead opt for the change as McCormick takes it in with some speed. Tried to sneak it around the left shoulder of Louis, but ends up being a breakout pass the other way.
Yeah, that top right corner right above Louis' shoulder is where Ledwick scored earlier. McCormick was trying to pick that, but just missed. Quarter of an inch wide of the post.
Welch takes down Irving Davis in the corner as Missoula Long's shot is picked up and cleared out by the Rangers. McCormick once again taking it in on her own. Looking to head straight for the net, takes it around, spins the other way as Louis is spread out, able to keep it out of the net. Looks like Welch and Saavedra Estrada were tied up there as McCormick able to keep it in the zone as Welch went diving over her, and Louis will freeze.
I believe Ledwick is skating now as a defenseman paired with Sydney Parham.
That looks to be the case. They're going to send out Rand, White, and Marino at forward as there's just a little over 3 minutes remaining. Shot deflected wide. I'd love to know how many saves Louis has tonight, because I'm sure it is well into the 40s, if not 50s at this point.
That sounds about right. Ledwick will try to get one by her again, though, right here.
That one just wide. Ends up being a breakout pass to Hine, but Ledwick able to make up for it. Now she's got some space, one-on-one with the defender. Snagged by Louis once again.
Ethan, somebody call the police. We just saw highway robbery. Sticking that, grabbing that glove out of the air by Louis.
Ryan Livesay, as a goalie yourself, do you have any analysis on that save there and how Louis has overall been doing tonight?
Nothing but compliments for Louis, making a lot of big saves today when her team needs especially down low. Great at getting camera pipe to pipe. Been really solid. Only reason their team's still in it, that's for sure. Another great save.
This is still only a 2-goal game, Ethan.
Right, it seems like it could be a lot more than that, as the Dragons just have been dominating this game. They've completely outnumbered the Rangers in terms of shots, but Louis, as well as some strong defense, getting in the slot, getting in the way of shots, has really been the answer here for the Rangers and why they've been able to keep this game within 2. McDuffie will send it in. That is sent right back out. McDuffie with it once again, trying to gain the blue line. Just can't get it in. Too many people in the way. Perkins not giving up. Let's try to get the puck in the zone now. As Bruning rims it around. 1:40 remaining. Chance here for Perkins, but taken away by McCormick. McCormick with some speed. She'll cut to the middle. McCormick one-on-one shot. Once again gloved by Charlie Louis.
For those at home who just experienced some difficulties with the camera and time, that was BHSN founder and executive Robert Bowen trying some finicky stuff.
Yeah, so we can see.
We do apologize for that. We usually try to leave the videography and scoreboard stuff to Brendan Ware. Again, Ryan Livesay knows what he's doing. Sorry that Robert kind of overstepped there. As Countway wins the face-off back. Collision ends up with a Ranger on the ice. As puck is tied up in the feet of Parham as she's taken down but able to get it deep.
Ethan, that did look a little Mahomey there from Sydney Parham, diving to the ground. I believe she was horizontal with the ice making that pass. Looked a little Mahomey.
Speaking of football, Robert, big AFC championship this week. You've been covering this season on Pat Patriot Football on Instagram. Do you think the Patriots have what it takes with a backup in Jarrett Stidham on the other side of the field?
Yeah, it's a guy they know really well. Jarrett Stidham, a 4th-round draft pick back in 2019 out of Auburn. And fun fact enough, the Patriots would have been playing against an Auburn quarterback either way. Bo Nix did play 3 years at Auburn before 2 years at Oregon. So either way, they were playing against an Auburn quarterback. But it will be Jarrett Stidham instead of Bo Nix, and the former Patriot from back in the day.
Speaking of Drake May, that shot is sent over the net as Saavedra Estrada goes down hard in the corner, able to get back up. Chance there for the Rangers, poked away by McCormick with just 30 seconds remaining. Saavedra Estrada continues to battle, able to get the puck back to Ledwick, and now to Countway, who's trying to take it through 3 Rangers defenders, deflected harmlessly there into the corner, centering pass. Nobody there. Countway trying to get it into the zone, taken down, 5 seconds left. McCormick potentially with a final chance as time's gonna expire. Dragons pull away with a 3-1 victory here at the Falmouth, Maine, Falmouth Family Ice Center.
Yeah, it was a great game, Ethan. Dragons will get back in the win column. They had lost 4 out of 5 in that streak, then they won 2 straight games, then that loss to Cheverus on Monday. Now they get 1 back, advanced to 9-7. Let's get our 3 stars going here, Ethan. I think I will let you award our first star.
Thank you.
Putting me on the spot here, Robert. I think first star of the night, I'm going to go with Quinn McCormick. Quinn did not have any points tonight, I believe, but still played some really strong defense. We saw her that third period She was basically rushing the puck into the zone the entire third period every time she was on the ice. So, first of three, Quinn McCormick. Robert?
Yeah, my second star is going to go straight to Solveig Ledwick, the state leader in goals. She had 2 goals tonight as well as an assist.
And finally, third star of the night, Natalie Parham, had her second goal.
I think Ryan gets to award it here, Ethan.
My apologies, Ryan.
As a fellow goalie, I think I'm going to have to give this to number 31 in white. The goaltender, Louis, made a lot of big-time saves, kept them in it, so has to be the third star of the game.
Yep, I agree with that, Ryan. I did forget that we do give it to both teams. I'm not, and usually I'm playing during the hockey games, and at basketball games we tend to give them only to Brunswick players. But speaking of basketball, tomorrow night we might be giving it to a Camden Hills player. Nolan Ames leading the number 1 seeded class in Class A North, the Camden Hills Windjammers. That game, 1 seed versus 2 seed in Brunswick. That'll be right here on BHSN at 7 p.m. Robert, how friggin' excited are we?
Ethan, I think it was about October 20th that we first realized that the Dragons, we were sitting in, I believe it was our Apes Lab class, first period on an Orange Day, around the October 20th level. And Brendan Shaw and Logan Gray and Alan Swain told us that they would be traveling to Camden Hills this season to play against the top player in the state, Nolan Ames. And when we realized that, we immediately put that game on the calendar. So how many months ago is that even at this point? And the day finally comes tomorrow. Nolan Ames, fantastic player, only 6'2", but still one of the best dunkers in the state. Can shoot the 3 ball at an extremely high level. Just super excited for that game, Ethan. 7 o'clock tomorrow. Number 2 Dragons, number 1 Windjammers.
Absolutely. So we're going to sign off for tonight, but we'll be right back in just under 24 hours in Camden Hills. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Ryan Livesay on our camera, as well as our scoreboard sponsored by Singer Domingo's Portside Real Estate, myself, Robert Bowen, and Ethan Patterson on the microphone. Dragons win 3-1.